Hey, I'm Hannah Weiss, the Director of Education at the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and this is your Moment of STEM. And this week, we're going to talk about something that I've kind of been avoiding over the past year and some odd. And it's something that, like, my Planeteer-loving elementary school heart just can't let us go on any longer without talking about. So in honor of Earth Day, we're going to talk about climate change. Before we do, though, it's, I think, really important to talk about why I've been avoiding this topic. And that's because climate change is something that has been really politicized by our news media. And as an educator, as someone whose primary job is really to teach people, and often really young learners, political things are stuff that we're really taught to kind of avoid. But there's a big problem with that, right? The first is that climate change, though it's been politicized, is science. And as a science educator, a science communicator, this is not something that I can avoid. And science anyway is just kind of always politicized. Another reason that I don't want to avoid this any longer is that just because something's a political issue doesn't mean it's not worth talking about. A lot of times we're told to avoid these things because there's the worry that we'll put our own bias on it, our own ideas. And you know, you can have these conversations about things that you're really passionate about or serious about without putting your own bias on it. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to talk about climate change. So here's the thing with climate change, right? It is this big issue. It's huge. Much too much to talk about in a 3 to 5 minute video. It is full of misconceptions and myths and really good science and some less good science, and really important ideas and words. And one of the kind of big things that I hear with climate change is the worry that it's going to bring a global ice age or global drought or global, I don't even know, flood maybe. And the fact of the matter is, it probably won't. I think these big ideas come from the fact that climate and weather are two very different words, but they get conflated a lot. People say that they mean the same thing when they're different. Climate talks about kind of weather over a long period of time, whereas weather is local atmospheric conditions. Weather can answer questions like, how hot is it today? Or how humid is it today? So when we talk about climate change, we're really talking about changes in our weather patterns. And with climate change, we can talk about things like a lot of extreme highs or very few record lows, or a lot of extreme weather events or storms that drop more water than we expect. And that's what we're really talking about when we talk about climate change. And of course, there are other things that are happening too. You know, we're losing glacial ice, coral reefs are bleaching, a lot of animals are either living in different places or even going extinct, which is making huge changes in food webs and food chains. And all of that has to do with climate change. So if you would like to dig deeper into climate change, and I really suggest that you do, you can check out any of the links below. Or if you'd like to do some of your own research, and really please do your own research, keep searching. But if you do, make sure that your sources are good sources that you wouldn't be embarrassed to tell your high school teacher that you used in a paper. If you need any help figuring out that a source is good, we also have a link for that below. Otherwise, I'm Hannah Weiss from the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and I have a lot more research to do.